Good morning, beautiful, bright souls. I am so glad that we could join together today. For so many of us, it feels like January was at least 300 days. Matter of fact, the cards want to address that. We have a tendency to focus on everything that's falling apart. Their nature, I think. So many of us wish to see change in the world right now, but we are surrounded in so many things that are falling apart. And if you have any degree of experience or you have been paying attention at all in the last decade, or unfortunately for some of us, several decades, we have seen a pattern of behavior, especially from masses of people, groups of people. Individual people are very smart and intelligent. But masses of people have a tendency to want to homogenize themselves and become a part of a larger group. They feel safer in that way. And so many of us see the patterns and we know what that entails. We know that there's something there that can be very dangerous. There's um, consistency with things that they express and say and how they behave out in the real world. But this card is coming up because it actually wants us to have a sense of openness to what could be, to potential. Does not want us to be influenced by this energy. Does not want us to immediately go into the worst possible scenario. Does not want us to immediately think the least of us is what is going to be the average. And while it is true that we are only as good as our lowest common denominator, that makes things a little bit challenging. There's instead a sense of being able to have a valuable contribution in this situation to really uplift others and to change the nature of things. This is a powerful influence. There is a lot of energy behind this, and it's not just in mind; it's in action. Now she can be sharp. She can be snappy. She she can definitely affect those around her, and it's in a lot of ways it's very much a tough love. It's a I want better for you, and I'm going to demand that you want it for yourself. We know throughout history there has been situations that individual people could have made a difference, and this is kind of calling on us to harness our individual power and be willing to be that person to make a difference and to do whatever it is in our power to make a difference in our own lives, for the lives of others. If we allow pessimism and resentment and the negativity to overcome us, it does not influence as many people as we can influence by um, offering suggestions and ideas and leading by example. So we're gonna try to see a different side of things for the sake of love, for the sake of beauty, for the sake of connection. I'm definitely feeling for some of you, February is going to change. It's not going to be the same as it was before. I'm getting like you're gonna. It's either a connection that reminds you of a past connection, or it's a connection returning. That connection was toxic before, and it was not something. And part of that was your fault. Part of that was um, your bitterness at how things were going, and it was reminding you of other situations. And so your influence in it ensured that it did go that way. But this is different. This feels different. This feels really light and it feels genuine. It feels heartfelt. It feels like some real conversations of where two people are able to be vulnerable with each other. It's not always about romance, but I feel in this sense for a lot of us, it is about a connection, a romantic connection that allows us to really feel like ourselves, like that we can celebrate being who we are. We don't have to hide who we are. This is a sense of balancing the energy. You're a little bit grounded, um, then your connection is going to be a little bit more, I don't want to say sporadic, but they're a little bit more willing to, I'm not thinking of the word I want. They're a little bit more going with the flow. And you have a tendency to like a plan. If you're a little bit on the emotional side, you're a little bit on the watery side, this is going to be a sense of uh, grounding with that. If you are a little bit on the passionate side, on the fiery side of things, what you're going to find is that there is something that can help manage and control that energy. Um, if you are on the uh, spur of the moment, windy, carry on with the energy side, you're going to find that there is a balance to that as well. So what we're finding with this card is counterpart, an actual counterpart. You're not always best matched up with somebody who's just like you. Some of us need somebody that can like give us the other side of life, and then we create an equilibrium with that energy. That Four of Pentacles showing an establishment of some positive influences here. There's some good things happening, job front, career front, stability in that. It's not just about the stability in the relationship, but I feel like there is stability in that relationship. Um, you might be the factor, they might be the factor, you might both be the factor, and together you come together and are able to make better decisions as one. But there is a sense of balance here. Um, and when things come in good and when things are doing very good, it's important for us to kind of have a sensibility about them. If you have an opportunity where you're presented with financial abundance, now is not the time to go wild um, and unthinking and not plan ahead. This now is the time to actually think about like how that could benefit you in the long term. So, and I get this for it's like even if it's just $20, we have a tendency to like say you only have a certain amount of money in your bank account and you get like an influx of money. You think, well, it's not going to hurt if I spend this little bit here and this little bit. But eventually that builds up into something where it's really actually devastated that number in your bank account. That $20 does matter. For some people, $20 is like a whole day. So thinking about it in different terms. And it's not about being stingy. It's not about, if somebody needs a beverage or somebody is asking for food, or if you have an opportunity to help somebody who needs $5 or $10 or whatever the case may be, yeah, help them. It's not about over controlling of the it's about being sensible with it and not taking for granted the resources that we have in front of us. It felt right, so I pulled the third one. First of all, look at this color scheme. Whew. If you're a visual person, you feel really good about colors when they come together and they just like complement each other. Gorgeous. What a gorgeous color scheme. Okay, let's talk about the cards because the cards together are a gorgeous scheme too. Perseverance is I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Absolutely you can. And the magic works through you with the sea spirit. The sea turtle spirit. Slow and steady wins the race. Perseverance is not putting all of your energy in all at once and expecting an outcome. It doesn't work like that. And in matter of fact, as much as we would love it to be the case all the time, magic does not work that way either. More often than not, you put it out there that you want something and you start acting as if, and you start doing the work and you start doing step by step. You start learning challenges and lessons along the way. And as you do this, you are building yourself to the point of being able to truly appreciate the blessing that you're about to receive. So, all three of these factors come together and create the perfect outcome for you. But there is a sense of needing to be patient with the process. It's much more enjoyable. It's an enjoyable process if we find a way to like the work. I'm getting like find a way to. I'm meaning for some of you, it's your coworkers. Like you really truly enjoy being with those people every day. Like they make it worthwhile. They make it fun. For some of you, it's that you truly know that what you're doing is valuable. Like even if the overall work is limited in who it affects directly, you know that ultimately you're contributing to a greater cause. Or you know that without your contributions, your team simply wouldn't be as effective as they are. Like you do a good job, and therefore the people that you work with are truly able to do the best job they could do because of it. There's some aspect of like enjoying the work here that I'm getting. That's like a process of getting to where we want to be. We take like the sea turtle and just kind of patiently flow with a level of grace. It's about being smooth with it. Like there's a way you see people like if you watch people walking, you'll notice that there's some people that are if they are trying to get somewhere quickly, they tend to kind of have these like jerky movements, right? And it's almost it's almost difficult to watch. They're in a hurry. You can sense that rush that they have. But when the people are just kind of casually strolling to where they need to go, they have a very natural grace and rhythm to them. That's what this is about. This is about embracing that. Because along the way, you know that they're enjoying, they're breathing deep. There's a rhythm in their head. They're vibing. They're taking in the scenery. Good day. Thinking about what they're going to eat later. Thinking about visiting with people they love later. Doing something fun. They know that what they're about to embark upon is good stuff, no matter what. And they don't have to be in a hurry about it. That is the energy of creation. That's the most powerful energy that you can emit in the universe. It is. It's because when you feel good, the universe is like, yeah, I'm going to give you more of that. I'm going to match that vibe. So when we recognize, like, we're not going to get it done overnight. Like, it's not going to happen like that. It doesn't mean I don't want to enjoy the journey. I really want to embrace it. I want to listen to the birds. I want to see the sunshine. I want to smell the smells, I want to see what's out there. I want to enjoy. I want to look at people's style along the way. I want to be inspired. I want to hear the music. I want to hear laughter. I want to laugh. We're taking some time to really kind of enjoy the sweetness of life. And as we do that, as we recognize that that is a part of the work, it makes the process and the time that it takes to get what we really want all that easier to deal with. But then because we put so much into it and because we enjoyed the process, when we get there, it's just like icing on the cake. It's so much more beautiful and so much more to appreciate when we get what we want because we know that we earned it. We earned that. Every aspect of it. You indulged in every single detail. That's where the real magic lies. It's in the really being present for each aspect of the experience. Yeah, you got to keep going. You got to keep working. It's never going to end though, right? So you can shuffle through life, or you can be like a sea turtle. You know, that's where the magic comes from. It's when you are vibing at your highest. You're enjoying what you're doing, every part of it, even the parts that aren't that great. You still know that there's something valuable there, and you appreciate what you're putting into it. So, universe feels that. That's where it comes from. We've got both potential and clairvoyance, which the color combos. These are so beautiful together. Potential in knowing things tend to turn out better than we expected if we believe that that's possible. It really amounts to you having trust and believing that something can be much greater. It's greater if you put a greater effort into it. It's greater if you have confidence in what you're doing. It's such a critical part about potential is looking at something and going, I can do something with this, and then giving it a little bit more just to see, what it could do. Right? Our clairvoyance, inspiration, interpretation, and trust. Trust, obviously, is a big part because trust and potential are hand in hand. But there's a lot of times that we don't know the outcome of something and we just simply have a feeling that it's worthwhile and that it will be okay and that things will go the way that we want them to and that things will flow and will fall together and all the pieces will show up when we need them. Um, if you walk out into the garage and you expect that your tool is missing, are you going to be able to find it? Probably not. It's probably and it's probably not actually lost. It's just somewhere you didn't think it was going to be, but because your mindset was focused on what was wrong, you immediately went to that problem. So in this case, it's about asking us to focus on what could go right, what could be really good, like because that's probably the most critical thing that we can offer. What are the things that could go really right for you right now? What are the things that look really good? And you don't have to have how it's going to happen. But what feels right for you? What feels good to you when you think about it? Like one of the things that feels really good for me right now is thinking about my car being paid off and not having any credit card debt. I can just think about like, wow, to just like that's a big payment every month, and to not have that credit card debt every month is like it opens up a world of possibilities for me. It's not even about what I can do with that money or that potential credit. It feels much lighter. It feels like there isn't this like big pressing thing on me all the time because I'm always like making sure that I make that payment on time. I'm always like concerned about that. And I think about when I don't have that payment anymore, then it feels to me like, wow, that's that's nice to own to own my vehicle again. And it's just a little thing. That's just a little tiny thing. I think in terms of what's going to feel like when I finally have that PhD, when I don't have to think about going to school anymore, or writing a dissertation, or any of the other things that I have to do in order to obtain it. When that's not like, what does it feel like when I feel like I've accomplished my dream? I think of all the things that I can do, not that there's some things that I can't do now, but there's a lot of things that I want to do with the PhD that I can't do before I receive it. So I think about, like, how exciting, like, how inspired I feel, how invigorated I feel to have that. And I know it's happening for me. I know it feels exactly like I'm on track. It feels like I know what I'm supposed to do and I know why I'm supposed to do it. I don't necessarily know the details between now and then. Like, I don't know, there could be some tests that come up. There could be some side quests. Could be some other things that occur. I feel like there is something else that occurs. I feel like there's something that happens between now and then that makes some of these things easier, that ensure that these things happen on in a timely manner. That's the intuitive trust part. That's the, like, seeing I see to the end and I don't know how. I just know there's something in there, like, favorable towards this. And I won't know it until I'm there. Like, I might not even know it when I'm there. I might have to look back and go, "Oh, that was the thing. That was what changed the course of things and made it easier for me." You're not supposed to know. You're just supposed to trust it. Does it feel good when you think about it? That's all you need to know. Does it feel like when you get there, there's gonna be more? Feels right. That's good. That's all you need to get started. Sometimes that's all we have to keep going, especially when things look a little bit challenging or we're faced with something we're like, I don't know how that's gonna work." But do you know it's ultimately what you're supposed to be doing? Because something will land in your lap and it will happen along the way and you'll go, "Yep, that was it." That's what these 2 cards are about. These are about a level of trust that some people will never ever know. Just a level of, I absolutely know what is right for me and what I deserve and what I want. And I know how good it's going to feel when I get there. And because I know these things without knowing the details of how I get to them, I can trust and believe that this is what's supposed to be happening. Even when you look at a challenge, if you go, if I overcome that challenge, that's just one little thing out of my way. That's knowing the greatness that you are destined for. Hold on to this. This is the energy that's necessary for you to fulfill everything that you're meant for. Thank you so much for joining with me today. Today's been a little bit of a ride. Thank goodness we are through the month of January, and I'm so glad that you could join with me. Thank you for joining me on your healing journey. Please reach out if you would like some personal guidance. I'm more than happy to provide it.